Yep, rolling.
Rolling? Okay. Well, hello. I think we're live. Let me know if the audio, if the video, if anything's not looking good. Robbie's manning the camera.
I'm gonna go get some light.
Oh, okay. We need more light. I thought today we could do a little bit of a live Q&A. We have so many new people joining the channel, so I'm sure you all have questions. So I'm here. I am actually sewing a new coat for myself. I don't typically mess around with patterns, but I thought today was a good day to learn a new one. Robbie cut them out for me, and I'm just going to be puttering away on this while we chat. Robbie's also going to be manning the convo for me so that I can be keeping my hands busy at the same time. This is a bit of a how shall I say, it's a princess seam, so it has two seams down the front and a very flared skirt kind of coat. It's 1950s style. I'm going to kind of mix a little bit of 1950s vintage with a little bit of 1920s, give a velvet collar on the top part of the lapel. I'm having a lot of fun. Let me show you the fabric I have for the lining. I have this fabric here. I'm hoping you can see that. It is an iridescent blue or teal. I've had both colors given to me, so it should make a really cool contrast on the inside of the coat against this blue wool, which I'm working with. So, if you have questions, don't be shy. I'm here to chat for a little bit anyways, and we'll just see how this live stream goes, and if you enjoy this format, maybe we'll do it more often. I'm happy to chat about whatever you want to chat about, and hopefully Robbie can head back soon so I know if anybody's actually watching. But I'm going to start out here on the lapels. One of the things I find really challenging about sewing projects in general and about pattern pieces that I haven't drafted is it's really difficult for me to know if something is oriented in the correct direction. I generally understand the layout of pieces. Obviously I can tell that big pieces where the top and bottom are, but when it comes to little pieces, I'm not necessarily going to tell which way the grain needs to go. So I can mess up quite royally that way because I can't see the patterns, which is why I typically draft for myself. And then cutting through 2 layers of wool is, I need better scissors. Yeah, so that's kind of my go-to. Maybe I'll keep pinning while I'm waiting for Robbie, because I don't know if I'm staying in frame when I go over there. So, this is the side front. I'm just making sure it feels relatively straight oriented to the fabric here.
We've got some comments already.
Oh, wonderful.
Les Flower says hi there.
Hello, Les.
Moises Hernandez says, hey Tamara,
Hello.
how do you read comments?
I use a screen reader called VoiceOver, but there's other ones for Windows. If you're on Windows, I also have JAWS, or I have NVDA, which is a free one. And it basically translates anything that's text-based on screen, and sometimes now even some contents of images, into words, so I can understand it. Is that a good description, would you say?
That sounds right to me.
Yeah. So I primarily use the screen reader whenever I'm doing online stuff. And for the most part, when I am commenting, sometimes I'll type it out, but I'm a very slow typer on phone. So most often I will speech dictate whatever I'm going to comment and then double check that it actually says what I want it to say. Because I've come across some very, very unfortunate errors. Or sometimes when I'm typing, I'll think it'll do colon parentheses for smiley face, but it's actually done a winky face instead. So it's semicolon. do you know what time of day it is? Well, and same goes with the screen reader. It'll read out contents on my phone. So I can just tap the home screen and it'll read out the time, same as you just looking down at it. I can, I can tell light, so I can see if it's light out or not. But if you don't, you can usually feel when the sun's out, you can feel the light on your face, you can feel the sun on your face. And there's lots of different coping strategies to determine what time of day is, no matter what technology you're using. Any more comments there, Robbie?
Nothing so far.
Am I in frame over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
The whole table, basically.
Great.
I'll get a little closer on me, though, just for now.
Okay. I'm primarily going to be working at this end for a bit.
Okie dokie.
Oh, and I don't think I mentioned, this is a gray wool that I'm working with, and it is really, really soft. It's like a kind of merino. It feels really nice. It's not scratchy like most wool. Well, I hope y'all have lots of questions. I'd love to answer them. Pinning is a challenge. I stab my fingers constantly. But what else are you going to do? And I know if any proper seamstresses are watching, they're going to say, I'm pinning the wrong way, I do it wrong. I'm pinning in the direction of the pattern instead of crossways. But then I find I'm always running into the needles that way, or the pins that way, and it drives me insane trying to cut around them. And I am predominantly self-taught when it comes to sewing, so I'm sure I have a lot of bad habits that are not 100% correct when it comes to form. Hopefully that fits. So is this the bottom collar? This feels like a bottom collar. Triangle. Lapel. Is that what it says?
Does it say on
It should say
what
what
it
it
is?
is. No?
Lapel.
Lapel, okay. Well, I thought it might be nice to just kind of hang on a Saturday afternoon, so if you are just tuning in, I'm just sewing a coat. Not doing much, just keeping occupied and hanging out. Because I thought, it's been a very long time since I've actually properly done a Q&A. Should not cut my fingers here.
I thought it was interesting what you were talking about with the Roman numerals on the pins.
Oh, yeah, that's something I do. So on my on my pattern pieces, if I have to take the pattern off, so I know what piece it is, I use Roman numerals and pins. So this is a 1, a straight up and down pin, and then I have pins in the shape of a V, so I know this is pattern piece 4 for the lining, because I had to reuse pattern piece 4 here for the outside of the coat as well. So yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting way, because most seamstresses will mark in chalk or do other things. I'll mark it with pins because they're tactile. And I like the really bulby pins, the big long ones that have big ball ends, because I find they're easier to feel and find and pull out and not rip your pattern. I'm going to need better scissors. Cutting through wool is sometimes a little bit challenging. know. What are you guys up to on Saturday? I suppose in some places it probably isn't Saturday anymore, but what are you up to this weekend? Ooh, one piece free. I have a lapel. Go right here. I gotta cut out another one. So I'm just taking the piece that I just cut out and I'm just poking the pins through the next several layers here so I can cut out a second lapel. Any more chats?
No questions yet.
Well, I'm enjoying sewing. I haven't done a sewing video on this channel in, well, it's been quite a while. What was the last one, Robbie? Was it the Halloween 2 years ago? When we were in lockdown still?
Yeah.
Oh no, this is too close to the edge. Trying to save space and making mistakes.
Coda Gray says hello.
Hello, Coda.
Zachariah Mechery. Lovely plants. Do you take care of them every day?
I have a black thumb, so I leave those to far more experienced people. Yeah, but yes, we do really take a lot of pride in watering them and keeping them alive, even though these short days and harsh Canadian winters we have up here. We do our best. A lot of them are dead. What do we still have living out there, Robbie?
Well, basil's out front there. A couple rubber plants on either side of the shelf coming up alongside. We've got a snake plant, a spider plant, a cactus, a jade plant, a wandering Jew, some thyme, parsley.
Is our parsley
Yeah, some
still
chives.
alive? I thought the parsley was dead.
Parsley's in rough shape.
Yeah. We haven't quite got it figured out. We have some full spectrum LED lamps to try and keep them alive, but they have not been very good. Either we're putting them on too long, or they're too close, or we haven't quite figured it out yet. So.
Coda Gray says hello.
Hello.
Oh, I think I already said that. Yeah. Soaring Eagle says greetings.
Hello, Soaring Eagle.
Julia Oliver says heck, then hello.
Hello.
And Gnome says good evening.
Hello, Gnome.
Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon if you're in the mountain time.
Yeah, where it's still, well, yeah, it's late afternoon. Late afternoon here. Does anyone out there in TV land have any tips for cutting? Because I'm usually pretty good, except when there's a lot of thick stuff I'm cutting. I kind of use my hand as a guide, and sometimes I'll put one finger on either side of the cutting blade, and sometimes I'll just put my index finger next to the scissors to cut along. But I'm finding that to be rather a challenge today, and not very accurate, because I think these scissors need sharpening. Serves me right for making something on full. Okay. Whew. This is gonna be death to my fingers by the end of it. I'm already tearing the pattern a little bit. That doesn't bode well if I want to make this again.
Soaring Eagle says, have you tried one of those zip blades?
No. What are zip blades? Tell me. I don't even know what they are.
Maybe it's those.
I've heard of the kind of the rotary wheels. Is that what it is? Where it's just a round wheel and you can just run it along. But unfortunately, I have a stone table underneath, so I don't want to scratch it. Otherwise, I would be using a rotary wheel. But if zip blade's something different, I'm all ears.
It's a razor blade in a plastic housing.
Oh.
So it sounds like it might be that cutter that you have that
But my
flips
cutter
over.
isn't rotary. It's just a little blade that follows a track.
Yeah, no, they never said rotary. You said rotary.
Oh, did I say rotary?
Mhm.
Oh, well.
So yeah, those are great for straight cuts. There's a few oblong ones
Curvy.
around here,
There's
though.
a lot of curvy cuts. And they have to be pretty accurate, unfortunately. Ouch. Stabbing myself with pins. If you hear the occasional yelp, don't worry. It's very normal. It's a necessary part of the creation process here. This wool is so great. I'm so happy we found it. Because I was going to settle for some cheap stuff, and then we found this. So.
You gonna have enough left over to make a matching coat for patients?
I'm going to try. I'm really going to try. There should be, if all goes well in the center here, there should be enough left for a patient's coat in the center. Provided she isn't allergic to wool. Her poor little dog has so many allergies. We're still trying to figure out.
Gnome says circular blades are good for cutting curves in fabric, but they can be difficult with thick material.
Yep, and this is definitely thick.
Les Flower says, a friend of mine is watching this with me and wants to know how tall you are.
I am about 5'7", but I'm seated currently, so it's probably difficult to tell.
And Samaya, I think that's how it's pronounced, says, your hair looks nice.
Thank you. I've been experimenting with some new rollers, and they're very strange. They're almost like netting with two little silicone clips at either end that are in a spiral, and some go clockwise and some go counterclockwise. And I put my hair through them after a shower last night, and they've been creating lots of curls, which I'm very happy with because it means I don't have to use a hot iron on my hair. And they seem to be working really well, and the curls last for almost a week, which is crazy to think about. Not that you necessarily want to go that long between showers, but for whatever reason, cutting in this direction seems to be going significantly better than cutting in the other direction. And I cannot tell you why. I had a big oopsie last night when I was cutting up the lining. I felt the edge of the fabric, and I felt the edge of the pattern piece, and I went snip, and I ended up cutting halfway through a big piece of my coat here. So I'm fixing that, or I did fix that already, because I could not tell that what I was cutting wasn't the edge of the pattern piece, it was several things laid on top of each other. I get so nervous when I cut, I leave giant seam allowances. So I'll definitely have to sew this at a 5/8 when I put it together. I'm going to try and get a little closer if I can.
Julia Oliver says, that was a typo. Sorry, the lighting is... Sorry, I guess, about the lighting where I am. What are your favorite parts of being blind? Have you picked up any new hobbies recently?
I am always trying new things. So the first part was my favorite parts about being blind. I don't have to know if there's somebody I don't want to talk to, and unless they talk to me, I don't know they're there. So I can ignore them with a clear conscience. So that's one big perk.
That's pretty handy, yeah.
Yeah. And they'll know that I can't see them, and I won't even know they're there, so there's no anxiety in making eye contact or something, so I think that's pretty excellent. I guess my other favorite part would be that I can't judge people based on their appearance or where they're from. I have to get to know them as a person first, so I can't make snap judgments about people, which is good. I think it gives me a unique perspective and a creative spirit that I otherwise wouldn't need to have, so I'm really, really into kind of simplifying and life hacks and kind of modifying the world around me to make it work for me, and that's something I don't think a lot of people ever have to practice or get into. There's a lot of things. If you told me that you had a cure for me tomorrow, I probably wouldn't take it, because I'm pretty happy with where I'm at and what I can do, and I've learned how to do everything I want to do. Now, as for new hobbies, new hobbies. It's been a little more challenging recently because I don't leave the house. What would you say, Robbie? You know me better.
We've been playing a little bit of Beat Saber recently.
Oh, right, yeah, we've been experimenting with the Oculus Rift, which is kind of hilarious because I can't see anything through it. But we're trying to find ways to make Oculus and other VR more accessible. So that's something that we've been... Have we done that on stream yet? I don't think we have.
No, we've not.
But it's something we've been having a lot of fun with. I know we've done more than that. I mean, definitely getting more into gardening as time goes on. I love plants. They don't love me. I seem to over or underwater them.
Been getting more into swimming.
Yeah, more into swimming. Absolutely. That's definitely my go-to exercise. It's one of the few that I can do safely. Well, relatively speaking. I'll have to think on that. If I think of any others, I'll shout them out.
Zachariah Mecheri says, is it possible for you to be able to see again, even just a little bit?
Well, I mean, anything's possible, but right now, no. Right now, the science is not evolved enough to regenerate optic nerves or fix problematic retinas. I mean, I could get my cataracts removed, but that likely wouldn't improve my vision at all. Probably not right now, but likely within 20 to 50 years they'll have something available. But it's probably not going to work for someone like me. And even if they offered it to me at that point, I probably wouldn't take it. Just because I'm used to the way I am, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the way I am. And while I never begrudge somebody who wants a cure or wants a solution, or wants to see again, I'm at peace with where I'm at. So, yeah. I think that's pretty. Yeah. I think that's where I'm at. You know, I have moments like anyone else where I curse blindness and I struggle with things and I get frustrated and I do things wrong, but you know what? Overall I think it's done more for me than it's taken away. And I'm fine with it. So
Henry Thompson says, can see your guide dog from Henry Thompson.
Oh, they want to see my guide dog. Hey, T! Come here! Come here, Squeaky! This dog is spoiled.
Bring her alongside your left.
Okay. Come here, you. No, no, go anywhere. Come here. Hey! Can they see her now?
Yep.
Probably not helpful. I'm wearing a black skirt today. Hello. Hello. Oh, James Cranky. She is a spoiled dog. This is something I haven't really talked about on the YouTube channel yet, but she is incredibly spoiled. She has more toys than any other dog I know, and she doesn't play with any of them. She has dog beds in every room. I kid you not, every single room of this house she has a dog bed in. So she's very comfy. She's a happy girl. You want to say anything to the people? Yeah, no. Still doesn't talk.
Just wags.
Just wags. Hi, sweetheart. Yeah, she's a good girl. She's very little. She's only 50 pounds. She's my micro lab. My last two boys were really big. They were about 100 or closer to. So, yeah, it's a bit of an adjustment to go from such a teeny pooch to a bigger one, or such big dogs to a little one like that.
Henry Thompson says, can Cuddles, your guide dog, sit on the floor? I think maybe he wants to know, does Patience know how to sit?
Oh yeah, Patience knows how to do all kinds of different things. Any kind of obedience commands, sit, stay, come, leave it, drop it, heel, steady, hop up. So she knows all your basic commands, all your basic obedience commands, whatever the variations are, depending on what your training style is. And she knows all of her guide work commands as well. So finding quite a number of objects and left, right. Sorry, Patience, she's getting all confused. I hear her over there going, what are you talking about? You're saying all of my trigger words and I don't know what you're going on about over there, Mummy. She look confused, Robbie?
She's content.
Okay. I heard her kind of moving around there. She usually does that when she's confused. I know, she's a very good dog. I wouldn't trade her for anyone. Any other questions there, Robbie?
Nothing yet.
Well, that's fun. I'm glad everybody's so talkative. Makes this whole thing a lot more fun for me. Okay. I might have you just give me a hand here. Gently moving this over so that the other edge is on the table. I have to do it very carefully because this guy's pinned down. How much further do I need to go?
I don't know what you're asking.
I'm trying to bring this fabric this way so it's on the edge of the island.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're fine.
Oh, good. It's the problem with an island that's just not quite big enough and giant fabric. Oh yeah, that's way past. Boy, misaligned. Okay, there you go. All fixed. Yeah, so let's see what we got here. Spread these out, line them up. Sure, everything's good. a challenge because I need a lot more help the first time I go through a pattern than any other time because I'll just remember and I'll know all the pieces. But unfortunately, patterns are not so accessible when it comes to the first time through anyways. Is this the full one? No.
No, that's down here.
This is the full one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna run that one up here.
Right.
Yeah, so. It's just gonna make more sense. I have more space up here. And then I'll find ways to conserve the fabric down there. So maybe I have enough for a dog jacket. Now this one was on a funny angle, hey? Which way does this one go?
Arrow needs to point down, right?
Like that? Okay. Lovely. Okay. Brilliant.
All right, Henry Thompson says, to cheer me up, belly scratches your dog. Please, because my cat died.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's awful. Daisy, come here. Someone needs some puppy love.
Patience.
Hey, Patience, come.
Oh no, I'm using my mad voice.
Julia Oliver, is your guide dog still working in the pandemic?
Yes, she is. But we are not going out very much, which I have to say, you know, is something I regret significantly. So,
Come.
Patience, come. Is there lots of stuff in the way?
Few
Few things, yeah. Yeah, well, you're not listening, huh? Okay, come here. Can you help me lift her? I don't want to roll off this chair here.
Yeah.
Lift her up so I can see her. Oh, come on.
Just maul her.
Hello, you. Hello. You're good. You're right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. Okay. You better freakies. Well, I'm so sorry about your kitty. I'm sure they were a very happy cat.
Soaring Eagle says, too cold to go out too much.
Yeah, definitely. It's too cold to go out too much, and I definitely regret not working with her more through the pandemic, but there's not much that I can do because I do have to isolate and I do have to be very, very careful. I have some immune issues to go along with my laundry list of stuff. So I'm one of those people that, you know, it doesn't matter. I have to be careful with the flu every year. So hopefully I'll get back to a normal working schedule. I finally have some work trips booked for the spring. So in the next probably 2-ish months from now, I have some work trips finally starting to come back, and I'm sure that'll pick up as time goes on, and we need to learn to live with what's going on. But she doesn't seem to be affected like a lot of other dogs. If anything, she's just gotten lazier. She's just a big lump. As you can see, she's sleepy. Of course, the one time she doesn't listen perfectly is when you're on stream. She's normally really responsive. Hey? She going to sleep?
Of course she
Yeah,
is.
she's snoring. Now Patience is snoring. Hey. She have her eyes open still?
Mm-hmm.
The awake sleep.
Yeah.
You could not choke yourself. You could choose not to.
Samaya again says, what inspired you to do YouTube?
I think what inspired me to do YouTube is, well, there was a few reasons. I'm going to set her down because I can't feel my legs anymore. Oh, be careful. Okay, that was not graceful. Looks like I'm abusing my dog. I'm sorry, patience.
No, that was fine.
I think there were a few reasons I started YouTube. The first was probably that I didn't see many people that were represented the way I wanted to be represented. I didn't see a lot of voices for the blind and visually impaired community on YouTube. There were a few, but either way they... Oh my, what was that?
No, I think she was gonna vomit in my lap.
Nice.
Is that what you want to do?
Um,
Make you wiggle?
Yeah, so I think it was more that I didn't see a lot of people that had that maybe I didn't see people giving all the tools to succeed all in one place, and I was always kind of grabbing little bits from here and little bits from there and trying to piece them all together to find success. And again, I didn't see many people like me. I didn't see a lot of folks with albinism on YouTube. I mean, there's James Rath and there's Casey, who I actually found out about after I started my YouTube, and I've met a lot more since. But I think the biggest part was just putting one more voice out into the universe of accessibility, inclusion, universal design, and some of the things that I've used to find success as a person with blindness. Do you know where my scissors are?
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock.
Okay, there we go.
Moises Hernandez says, do you have any experiences with drugs? I guess it's an ask me anything. It's not necessarily a tell-all. You can ask, we don't have to tell.
So I don't use illegal substances for any reason. I've tried I know, based on some family history, that I am more prone to addiction. I have an addictive personality. I get very into things. So I've always been very, very careful not to do anything in the realm of illegal substances. In terms of, do I take a lot of medication that's prescribed by a physician? Yes. Yes, I do. I have to take a lot of medications on a daily basis, but they are all under doctor's advisement presently. Is that a fair response, Robbie?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Julia Oliver has a good one. Can you explain the types of work you do outside of YouTube, if any?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? I wear a lot of different hats during the day. So I work, I'm probably going to forget a few here, so you're gonna have to kind of remind me if I've forgotten anything.
Of course.
I have been what I can only describe as a consultant for the better part of a decade. So, and that might be in a variety of different fields. When it comes to consulting, I might consult in disability-related things. So, working with architects to make buildings disability-friendly, or it might be working with a company to make sure their accessibility is up to snuff, or giving feedback in terms of products that are in development, or software that's in development, or hardware, or tech, or I mean, there's a lot of tech, or video games even is something that I've been doing. So I also have consulted more in the medical advocacy side of things. So I do a lot of health advocacy with people who need to navigate complex health conditions and need help moving through the healthcare system. Because even though here in Canada it's free, it doesn't mean it's easy. And there are a lot of services and things available to help people that are not advertised, that people don't know about, that they can access. And so it's putting people in touch with the right, maybe the right strategy or the right plan to help them reach their best potential. I work as a life coach, So again, that's very similar but different. It might depend on the client that I'm working with. So it might be helping them find what their sticking points are that are preventing them from succeeding at work. It might be more personal, feeling fulfillment with what you're doing. So it really varies depending on the person, and I like that variability. I primarily work as a music instructor for anyone, but I have a special focus for kids with a variety of disabilities. So I will take the students that other teachers have turned down, because I believe that every student should have access to music education, because again, that's been so fundamental for me to my success in life, is having outlets, having passions, having something that felt like mine, that I didn't need to feel like I was disabled in. So I work with all kinds of different kids in that, and I've been doing that for about 15 years. And I work as a massage therapist. Right now I don't have any commissions, but I have worked as a professional seamstress, and sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. I've done some stuff for TV and movies. I run a business, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later, but that's about as vague as I'm going to be for right now. I'm missing some things. Oh yeah, I've written several books, so I suppose I can be an author. Again, if you're interested in that, let me know. Maybe I'll consider making a video. And it's music theory related and trying to find accessibility in that sphere. What am I forgetting, Robbie? I don't want to get into some of the things that I'm retired from.
Okay.
I used to work in healthcare and sciences more, but yeah, yeah. Presently, am I doing anything else presently?
Streaming?
Oh yeah, we stream, and I mean, I consider YouTube part of that work. Well, you'd set aside from YouTube. But no, I make $0 from YouTube right now. I do make a few dollars off of Patreon. I'm not asking you to go do any of that. That's just if you feel so inclined. But yeah, I don't make any money for the videos that I put out. I put a lot of work into them, but it's mostly because I want that information out there, and I want to try and create something that I wish I would have seen when I was going through my vision loss. Okay, so that was a very extensive list. I'm sure there's a few things that I've forgotten in there, but you know.
Samaya again asks, did you go to college?
Yes, I did. I went to, I mean, it depends on where you're from. Some places they call it college, some places they call it university, some places they're different things. Here in Canada, college and university are different things. College is where you can get kind of diplomas and certificates, and university is where you get degrees. So yeah, I have gone to university, and I have been a little bit education obsessed, but at the moment, I am actually considering going back and doing a PhD in a disability-related field. That's all I want to say on that.
No one wants to know, which instruments do you play?
Oh boy, you're asking the good questions. So I play violin. That was my first instrument. I started when I was 3 and a half. And I also play piano, flute, saxophone, the Irish whistle, a little bit of clarinet, a little bit of percussion. Did I say saxophone? Can't remember. If not saxophone, and I sing. I'm starting to learn guitar. I'm trying. I don't seem to have the finger strength for it. But I do for violin, which is kind of funny. anyways, yeah, those are my primary instruments. I play a lot more poorly, so if that's
Henry Thompson really wants to see more about the guide dog. Wants to tell me more about the guide dog. Please, can I see him? Well, there's lots of content out there featuring patients, lots of videos that we've made on Unsightly Opinion so far, lots of photographs out there on the Instagram, videos kind of centered around the guide dog.
Mm-hmm. I have a few more. She does something really, really cute when I tell her it's dinner time. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that video. I'm going to put out a compilation of what she does when I tell her it's time to go have dinner.
Wants to know, do you have any more dogs?
I do not. I have never, well, I've had a couple of pets over the years, aside from my guide dogs, but no large animals. I've had one guinea pig and a goldfish prior to getting my first guide dog when I was 15. And I have not had any other pets since. I mean, I think it works really well just having a guide dog at home. That way you can put all your attention on your dog. And I know a lot of people that have guide dogs and other pets and they learn bad behaviors because the dog that isn't professionally trained can teach the professionally trained dog bad habits. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work. There's lots of folks out there who successfully manage having both pets and service animals, but it can be a real challenge for sure.
All right. Soaring Eagle wants to know, do you have a favorite type of music?
I am a little bit eclectic. I will listen to probably, you know, if somebody said, what's your favorite artist? I probably couldn't tell you. I listen to a lot of classical because that's what I grew up on, which I know is a very unpopular opinion. I'll listen to a little bit of everything. If I can understand it, if it speaks to me, whether it's lyrics or melody or rhythm or something, I will pay for it. I'll download it. I usually don't download whole albums, but I'll find one song, two songs that speak to me, and then I will go with those.
Les Flower wants to know, do you cook a lot?
Yeah, I'd say I do. It's pretty even split. We're doing a bit of a food challenge right now where I'm trying to figure out what some of the things are that are bugging me when I eat them. So that's been a challenge for sure, but which has made it a little more challenging to cook for sure, because we have a lot of limited options: no dairy, no meat, no beans, a lot of vegetables.
Handstone wants to know, how will we know when you're doing live chats? I just happened upon this at work.
Oh, well, this one should have popped up in your feed a few days ago, but unfortunately when I set it up, because I am highly inexperienced, I had it set up on the computer and it wouldn't let me go live on the phone. So it's probably because I had to change that about 20 minutes before we went live that you didn't see that, because I think it was popping up for Robbie last week as well. So hopefully if we do this again, you'll have no problem finding it.
Noam wants to know, do you have a favorite composer?
Oh, it's gotta be Mozart. I know it's lame, everybody Mozart. But I really do like how he writes. I like how typically upbeat it is, but it can get very emotional. I do like a lot of things in the Baroque period as well, you know, like your Bach, your Brandenburg concertos kind of things. Yeah, that'd probably be my answer.
Henry Thompson wants to know, where do you live? You can be pretty general with that, I suppose.
Yeah, I live in Canada, and that's about as specific as I'm going to get because I have had some situations in the past with some folks online that I would not like to repeat. So I live in Canada.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Julia Oliver wants to know, would love to see a video on how you adapted music theory for yourself and others with sight loss. I know it's sound mostly.
Well, I think the funny part is I have written music theory books, but when I was younger, no one taught me music theory. I come from a long line of pedagogical classical musicians on my mother's side, some quite well-renowned musicians on that side, and yet they thought, oh, Tamara can't see it, she's not going to learn it. So I didn't learn music theory. And that was one of my biggest regrets, is that nobody took the time to explain it in a way that made sense to me. And so after my grandmother passed away and my mother passed away, it was on to me to take her books in a new direction, and so I started writing it from an accessibility standpoint. I'm still working on the whole accessibility of it all. I still have to translate it into a few different formats, but in general, I have a couple of, I think the way you make it accessible is you give people options in terms of what works best for them. So my books aren't just printed standard in large print, which they are, they're 18 point. They're printed in clear read text, which is usually easier for those with dyslexia. They are printed in full color, but I also have a black and white version available with high contrast. I have everything kind of, a lot in the main book is based on colors. So things that, even if you can't necessarily see detail, if you have color perception, you might have a better chance of seeing what's there. But again, I have different formats available for people with different needs. I am in the process of translating it into Braille and kind of going through the process of creating an introductory book that not only focuses on teaching you the same fundamentals of printed music theory, but also teaches you the music theory alongside for music Braille, which is quite a complex language. So that's been an ongoing passion project, and I'm still working on it, but hopefully you'll see all of that coming out very, very soon.
Zachariah Macheri asks, do you like reading novels or stories? If so, what is your favorite?
Oh, I could no sooner pick a favorite star in the sky. I am a bibliophile in the worst order. I read constantly. I will read anything and everything, from biographies and nonfiction history to fantasy, sci-fi. I would say I probably lean more towards the sci-fi or fantasy genres. Lord of the Rings would probably be my jam if you forced my hand and forced me to pick. I have the Lord of the Rings in many different formats in my little library. And if you can see behind me in my normal setup, you'll find a lot of little Lord of the Rings tidbits there hiding away in the background.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say Lord of the Rings.
Oh, no, I mean, it's fantastic, and I read it at least twice a year, but there are a lot of books that hold that special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna go do something for Henry Thompson. He really wants to see belly rubs from the doggy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go.
I'm just pinning, so you're not missing much.
Patience. Come here. Come here. You gotta roll over, Patience. Roll over. She mostly just prefers the head rubs and the chin scratches. Come here. You're just being lazy bones today, huh?
Oh yeah. Had a busy day yesterday, lots of errands. Today is her nap day. This is the weekend, I'm off duty.
You're right, Zachariah. She is not in the mood.
She's had enough.
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, no, she doesn't, what is that saying? When you're in show business, never work with children or animals?
That's right. Les Flower wants to know, do you do your own housework?
Yes, I do, and I take great pride in doing it.
Big time.
I would say between Robbie and I am the housework queen. For sure. Well, I mean, most housework doer. That's a bad sentence. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen, okay? I probably do the lion's share of the housework of the tidying. I do find it, from some of my other health conditions, I do find certain chores like vacuuming to be a little more complicated. But, we have a Roomba. It takes care of it for me. And aside from that, I do most of it.
I do.
You do some.
I do the important stuff. You do the superfluous, nitpicky stuff.
You do that. Like what?
No, you do the nitpicky
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. I was gonna say you do the nitpicky stuff. I do the nitpicky stuff.
I do the important stuff that ought to get done.
And I do all of the stuff.
Mara does the neurotic everything that no one would ever pay attention to.
Okay, there are reasons for that. I am blind and I don't know what people can see, so if there's crumbs on the counter, I don't know if people can see that or not. So I'm gonna be sure that they're gone, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Windowsills that are 7 feet high.
Okay, well that's just because I don't like dust.
Yep.
I have a touch of the cleanliness compulsions.
Les Flower says that's awesome.
Yeah, if you're curious, I have been considering doing a clean with me video. I'm not sure where the camera's at.
Hey?
Where even is the camera? I keep looking at you.
Yeah, well, over here.
Okay.
Close. Julie Oliver says, what are your thoughts on C, the show on Apple TV Plus?
Is that the one with the new blind character? Who's a GDB grad? I'm trying to think. I haven't seen it yet. So I might have to check that out this evening. We've been looking for a new show.
Noam says, opinions on the cello.
Beautiful. I love the cello. My only complaint is that they're slightly large. They're big to take on an airplane.
That's a good point. Violin's a little more portable.
Oh yeah, you can put it in the overhead bin.
I like the ukulele for that reason.
The ukulele.
Very portable. If
Because
you
you
break
can't
it
even-
along the way, then you can just pick up another one for $25 on the other end.
Oh my goodness. You're ridiculous.
Sure you're not going to bring a person to tears with a ukulele?
I mean, I've heard some pretty good ukulele over the years. You know, the original Over the Rainbow is pretty, or not the original, the Over the Rainbow by, what's his name?
Is.
Thank you, is pretty delightful. I mean, that's probably the best example of
It's the vocals, though, let's be honest.
Yeah. Although his ukulele does sound nice.
It does, yeah. Gnome says I have to take mine on 2 buses each way to my lessons and rehearsals, so I would share that complaint.
Yeah, I mean, I've played some bigger instruments too, and I just went, no, I can't carry this. Thanks. Try something else. So I'm glad it's the violin, but I mean, once you learn one stringed instrument, it's pretty easy to translate to others. It's just different muscle memory. Bowing's relatively the same, fingering is relatively the same, hand position's relatively the same. I mean, it's a little more different for cello and double bass than it is for violin, viola, but you know, I can play bad cello if somebody put me up to it. Any other questions here, Rob? I love how many questions we have coming in. They're all great.
Hugh Flake says your hair, and an emoticon with a couple of hearts for eyes.
Oh, well, thank you. I had fun with it today. I am not getting this good. I'm doing a bad job cutting. Nobody look closely.
Well, the quality on this live stream isn't so great, so they won't be able to tell.
Okay, good. I'm kind of, every seam is ending up a lot larger than the pattern piece, and I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm trying my best, but it's kind of tough. I need a better angle. Oopsies. Pins go flying.
I'm surprised how poor the quality looks on this, honestly.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe it's being shot at too high a bit
Rate?
rate. Mm-hmm.
I set it to 30 FPS and I set my camera to the same frame rate. And, I mean, we should have gigabit upload, so...
Yep, no, we do. It's. I don't know. Maybe we should have just
Tested.
shot it at 1080 or 720 or something like that instead, though.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't change it out of 4K. I got that one right. See, I got this side right. The rest of them are a little wonky. But I'm trying. It's all that matters is you try. And then account for it when you're sewing it. There we go.
Alright, we're about 64 minutes in now.
Oh my goodness, already?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think maybe we should probably wrap it up there for now. If anybody has any final questions, send them in.
Soaring Eagle wants to know, what's your favorite flour substitute for baking?
Oh, 1 part rice flour, 1 part tapioca starch. Tastes like nothing, it doesn't have any weird texture to it, can be used exactly as a 1-for-1, is way cheaper than your typical gluten-free flour blends. It's the best. Although, in close second place would be the President's Choice gluten-free flour mix. That's pretty good too. Those would be my top 2. I do a lot of creative baking. You've seen a lot more of that recently with our food challenge, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Making pancakes with 2 ingredients and making kinds of interesting dinner dishes. I make pancakes where I like oat flour too. Oat flour is quite nice and mealy. Gives a nice wholesome texture, whole grain texture. Any other last questions?
One comment. Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Thumbs up.
Oh my.
Moving right along.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Thanks, Tushy Tickler. Julia Oliver, always down for a good dose of disability rep in film/TV. What is your favorite show or movie with this? What do you think shows in movies can do better?
Oh,
A great question to finish it off.
Oh yeah, definitely. There are so many things that I think are done poorly in film. If I had to pick some that I think are done exceedingly poorly, we could go back to the original Marvel Daredevil movie. I may at one point do a video on that, but that's going to start a rant that I just won't be able to contain. Because I hate it when you see disability as the main plot device. I hate it when a person is their disability and they're nothing more than that.
I think that would make a great video if you were kind of prosecuting and I was playing the Daredevil's advocate.
You want to do a Phoenix Wright style trial? Nice. Okay, we can arrange that. I think when you see disability through a stereotypical lens, that's when I think it becomes problematic, because it doesn't accurately represent a community, and I know how incredibly challenging it can be to express the incredibly vast experience that we have as blind and low vision people, that it can be daunting to even attempt that, so you do rely on stereotypes. But when the disability is only a disability when it's a plot device for it to be a disability, and then they're perfect 100% of the time, that's my problem with Daredevil. So they're perfect when it's convenient for them to be perfect, but very disabled when it's convenient for them to be disabled. That's, I think, what I have a problem with, because disability is not an on-off switch. It's something that you live with constantly, and it can be looked through a variety of different lenses. When it comes to good representations of disability, I'm thinking something more recent would be better, because they've taken, or I think they're taking, Hollywood in general is starting to recognize that you can't just rely on stereotypes and people aren't going to be okay with it anymore. So while I haven't seen, I typically try and stay away from a lot of disability focused TV and movies, because I find a lot of that representation to be very distressing. So I think I'd probably rely on those that you guys to tell me what's worth watching and what isn't, and what is a good representation, because I don't like being frustrated with the TV that I'm watching. I don't like catching misconceptions just passing by. I don't like having to watch things that are blatantly untrue for the vast majority in a community to just become what society as a whole sees as normal for a disabled person, like helplessness, hopelessness, incapability, reliance on others, when the vast majority of us live fully independent and very capable lives. And we all have struggles. I mean, I have struggles, you have struggles, but it doesn't necessarily represent, I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say right now. I find it frustrating. So if you have good suggestions, let me know.
I would say Garrett.
Garrett? What is Garrett?
Superstore.
Yeah, that's a good representation. Garrett from Superstore. Thank you. Yeah, you reminded. Yeah, that's a very good representation, because the disability is there, but it's almost a non-issue. It's just part of the character. It's almost never brought up. You have the typical curiosity of the other employees, but Garrett just completely sidelines them, and they never find out why he's in a wheelchair. And after it gets asked once, it just gets dropped. And Garrett is an independent character all by himself without needing any assistance. He's fully independent and has full character development aside from having a disability. Yeah, I think that's it.
Les Flower ends it off by saying thank you for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. I really enjoyed this. I think if you're into it, I might do it again sometime soon. It was a lot of fun, and I got to hang out and cut some fabric and chat and get to meet and actually communicate more fluidly, without delay. What's the word I'm looking for?
That's the one.
Fluid, yeah, okay. With all of you, and it was a lot of fun. But I think we'll probably wrap it up here for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. All the, you know what to do. And you can check out all the other social media down below. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.